all of these programs can pretty much do the same thing, and that's help you make music on your Windows computer. The way that they help you through their workflow, maybe some included instruments, effects, and sounds, that's what makes each one of these unique. And it might seem overwhelming with all of these choices available, but I'm going to let you know how you can go about picking the right one for you. But right now, let's check out the first DAW on the list, and it's actually one of the first DAWs ever released. This is Cubase from Steinberg. Of course, it's been updated quite a bit since its initial release in 1989. Steinberg Cubase is a very powerful DAW, and it works really well for modern musicians and producers. It comes with quite a few great quality instruments and effects. The user interface appears to be a little more on the traditional side, but they've added some of their own unique twists that can help speed up your workflow. And Cubase can be great for solo musicians, bands, electronic musicians, and music producers of any level. Prices start at just $99 for the Elements version of Cubase, and it's a very capable entry-level DAW, or you can download an unlocked 60-day free trial of the Pro version or the Elements version, and you can see if Cubase is the right one for you. Now let's have a look at one that I have a soft spot for, and that's FL Studio from ImageLine. This is actually the first DAW that I purchased way back in the early 2000s. It's not the first one that I used, but it is the first one I spent money on. If you're a solo musician that wants to make music on your own, FL Studio can be your musical partner. Whether you're coming up with backing tracks for your rock songs, or maybe entire hip-hop and electronic music beats, FL Studio has a different workflow from pretty much every other digital audio workstation, and that can be a huge plus for some creators, or it can be a huge negative for some others. It comes with some incredible instruments and effects. The step sequencer and piano roll in FL Studio are what really make this thing a super easy way to start making music, and it doesn't take too long to catch on to its workflow. But when it comes to recording audio into FL Studio, that's where the workflow isn't as quick as other programs. One thing that people absolutely love about FL Studio is that you get lifetime free updates with it. FL Studio comes in 4 editions, and I recommend going with at least the Producer Edition, which is $199 US. If you're just curious to check it out, you can download a completely unlocked demo of FL Studio and use it for as long as you like. The only issue is you can't open any projects that you saved until you purchase a license. This next music making program is completely free despite having so many pro features and capabilities. This is Cakewalk by Bandlab. And the reason why this looks and feels like a pro-level DAW is because it is one. Cakewalk has been around for years, and the higher-end version was called Sonar Platinum. Cakewalk by Bandlab is Sonar Platinum. Bandlab purchased it from the Gibson Guitar Company, and they decided to give it away for free to all musicians and producers, and they continue to update it, so it's not like it's abandonware. You get some excellent effects with Cakewalk by Bandlab, like the TH3 guitar amp sim, and there's also some decent instruments like drums, bass, guitar, piano, and strings, and if that's not enough for you, you can also bring in third-party VST plugins as well. The workflow can seem a little clunky at times, so it's not the fastest workflow out there, but it gets the job done, and you actually get used to it pretty quickly. I find Cakewalk to be great for rock and pop styles of music, but of course it can be used to create electronic styles too. It even has a clip launcher feature that's similar to Ableton Live's Session View. So now let's check out Ableton Live, and this is a very popular DAW these days, and it's one that I really enjoy using whenever I make videos on it. And one of the things that I really like about Ableton Live is that it's kind of like 2 programs. If you like the more traditional way of recording and making music on a linear timeline, you can do that in the arrangement view. But there's also another way that you can use Ableton Live, and that's through the session view. This is a more modern approach to music making. You can load up loops, samples, and MIDI with virtual instruments into what they call scenes, and then you can easily launch them in time with your song. And this can be great for remixes and mashups, plus beat making and electronic music styles. It feels like a very performance type of approach to music making, even if you aren't the one performing the actual audio that you're using. And because of this duality in Ableton Live, it can be great for pretty much any type of music. You also get a ton of effects and instruments in Ableton Live, so you won't need to add anything, but if you do want to, you can add third-party VST plugins in there. There are a few different paid versions of Ableton Live. If you're just getting started, you might want to go with the intro version. It's $99, but the most popular standard edition goes for $449 US. And of course, you can download the 90-day free trial of the full program, and that gives you loads of time to test it out. Now, another music making program that's very similar to Ableton Live is Bitwig Studio. It comes with over 80 instruments and effects, but of course you can bring in other effects and instruments as well. The grid in here is an interesting concept where you can create a custom synth or a custom effect, and that can help you come up with a signature sound that's all your own. There are so many customization options in Bitwig. If you love to tinker with synths and gadgets, this might be the DAW for you. Bitwig also has that clip launcher that's similar to Ableton Live's Session View. It was actually created by a former Ableton employee, so you may find some similarities between the two, but of course Bitwig tries to build off of that and gives you a different experience. You also get that classic linear timeline that you can record and make music in like a more traditional digital audio workstation. And because of the massive flexibility in Bitwig, it can be great for any style of music and music producer. There's two different versions of Bitwig. You get the 16-track one, which is your entry-level version, and this starts at $99. Then there's the full studio version, which is $399. And you can test it out before you buy it with the fully unlocked 30-day demo. Now let's have a look at one that was once considered the industry standard. This is Pro Tools from Avid. This is one that you'll find in some of the biggest pro studios out there. Of course, the pro studios have HDX hardware that enhances the performance, and that makes it an excellent choice for a professional setting, but you don't need any special hardware to use Pro Tools in your independent home studio. You get over 100 excellent effects and instruments in the Artist Bundle, which is the more entry-level option, and you can bring in third-party plugins to Pro Tools as well. Personally, I've really been enjoying the latest version of Pro Tools. It still has that more traditional workflow, but it does have improvements. And I really like this one for working with rock, pop, and styles of music where your source is more recorded audio in, but you can use loops, samples, and MIDI with it, no problem. Now, one of the things that home studio users seem to not like about Pro Tools is the subscription model that they use. If you go with the more entry-level Pro Tools Artist, it's going to cost you $9.99 per month, or you can save some money by using the annual option, which is $99 per year. And you also get some added plugins with that option. And if you are curious about Pro Tools, there is a free version called Pro Tools Intro, and it does have some track limitations, but you can still bring in third-party plugins and do all of the regular stuff that you would do in Pro Tools, but there is that audio and MIDI track limitation. This next one I've really been getting into this year, and I'm really enjoying it. This is Studio One from Presonus. Presonus has designed it to help you quickly record, edit, and mix your music. And you kind of get that classic digital audio workstation look, but it adds a way more modern workflow. Beat makers and electronic music creators will feel at home with this digital audio workstation, along with bands and more rock or pop-focused musicians. Studio One comes with some very high-quality instruments and effects that can be used in a variety of situations, including the integrated Melodyne pitch correction, which is a great tool. And if you want a pro-quality DAW with a speedy workflow that doesn't get in your way, this might be the choice for you. Pricing starts at $99 for the artist version, and it goes up to $399 for the pro version. And there's also a free version of Studio One. It's called Studio One Prime. It has some limitations, like you can't bring in third-party plugins, but you can download it and see if the workflow works for you. You just have to download the demo, and when you're installing it, the installer is going to ask you if you want to install the free Studio One Prime or if you want to use the demo of the full version. The workflow in this next one is very similar to Presonus Studio One, and again, it's another one of my favorites. This is Tracktion Waveform. There's actually a couple of versions. There's Tracktion Waveform Free, which is completely unlocked, and it even comes with some instruments and effects. And there's no limitations with Waveform Free. And then there's Tracktion Waveform Pro, which includes some extra instruments, effects, and some modern workflow features. But not having any of those in the free version won't limit you at all. They're just really nice add-ons to have. Tracktion Daws have a unique, modern, and speedy workflow that doesn't get in your way. It allows you to just focus on making and mixing music. Waveform can be great for full bands, solo artists, and beat makers, or other electronic styles. In the Pro version, the chord track can speed up your music creation or even inspire you. Waveform Pro starts at $99, or you can grab the free version and get started right away without spending a cent. Next up is another very popular music making program. This is the Reaper DAW. With Reaper, you get that traditional workflow that some musicians really like, but there are lots of customizations available for Reaper, so you can really customize it the way that you like, or you can find some Reaper themes that you really like and install those. You get a huge variety of effects with Reaper, and a lot of them are very useful. Reaper is a great choice for bands and home studio owners that want a budget-friendly but very powerful digital audio workstation, and of course solo musicians and beat creators can use this one as well and get great results. A license is $60 for individual use or just over $200 for commercial use. And you can download a completely unlocked free trial for 60 days. You can continue using it in trial mode, which is unlocked for as long as you like, but if you enjoy the software and continue to use Reaper, you should purchase a license to help them continue to develop it and make improvements. Now let's check out this very cool digital audio workstation. This one is Reason. The Reason DAW has a cool user interface and workflow that's similar to working in an actual studio. You get some very high quality instruments and effects in there, and many people actually use this just for its instruments. But in the Reason Studio, you can record and edit your music in a traditional linear timeline. Also, the console-style mixer is similar to a real console, giving you a cool classic vibe with a high-quality sound. Reason can appeal to bands, beat makers, solo artists, and anybody that wants something a little different and more analog feeling with instruments and effects that are going to help you stand out from the crowd. Pricing starts at $499, but there's also a subscription model that gives you even more instruments and sounds, and you can try that subscription for just $1 for your first 30 days. Now here's another one that I have a soft spot for. This one is Magix Music Maker. Earlier, I told you about the first DAW that I bought. Well, this one was the first one that I used to make a complete song. There's a free version of Music Maker that allows you to easily put songs together, either recording your audio in or using MIDI with the included instruments, or you can also use the included sound pools, which are like loop packs with sounds that all work well together. Music Maker Free has an 8-track limitation, and you can't bring in any third-party plugins, but you can access the sound pools and included instruments no problem. Magix Music Maker Premium comes with a ton of sounds through the sound pools that it includes, a ton of instruments and effects. Plus, Premium also has the Song Maker feature in there that can really help to get you started with mixing and remixing songs. This is one of the easier DAWs to get started with. It can be great for solo musicians looking to quickly record songs or create beats, but keep in mind that any tracks you create using those included sound pools cannot be monetized. You can post those songs all over the place, you just can't make money from them. But if you're recording your own music into it or just using the included virtual instruments, you can do whatever you like with your creative works. Music Maker Premium typically goes for around $99, but you can often find it on sale as well. So that's a ton of excellent music making programs, and there really isn't a wrong choice, but there is the right choice for you. So how do you find that right choice? Well, 2 or 3 of these likely caught your attention. So download those ones that initially caught your attention, give them a good test drive, maybe try to create a beat in there or record some audio into it just so you can see what the workflow is going to be like and see if it's going to work with your style. Then once you find the one that you think you might want to stick with, really learn it, watch some tutorial videos on it, and really get into it so you kind of master it. You want to get to the point where in that program, you're just focusing on making and mixing music, not learning how to do certain things within the program itself. And don't worry about what other people might tell you about that program that you choose. If it's the right one for you, it's the right one for you. And seriously, there are so many excellent free effects and free instruments that you can add to these programs, so don't make your decision based on what's included with them. Actually, click this video to see 60 of the best free effects and instruments that you can grab right now. Maybe grab a free DAW, grab some of these free effects and instruments, and you can start making music without spending a cent. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating. Fist bump. Thumbs up.